Hey, Carl Willis. It is day 43 of my video challenge, and I want to start this video with a simple question. What sacrifices are you willing to make to stay the course? And the reason I want to bring this question out to you is, number one, it's a place that Carol and I find ourselves today. It's a place we've been a couple of times in our business, and it's also coming about from a conversation that I've had online the last few days. So let me start with the conversation. I've had a lady in Africa for the last couple of days trying to get me to pay her $25 startup fee for Empower Network. She wanted me to underwrite that for her. And I just told her, if I were to underwrite your startup fee, I would be doing you a disservice, that you actually need the experience of figuring out a solution to your problem. That one of the key things of being an entrepreneur is simply figuring out how to get around, over, and through the obstacles that cause most people to stop. And when you learn to do that, when you make that a part of your DNA, then you can truly enjoy success as an entrepreneur, because you don't allow roadblocks to stall you out, to stop you. And so, that brings me to where we're at today. Of course, you have heard my story. We started our business living in our friend's spare bedroom. I did most of my work at their kitchen table and on their spare bed. We had started a ministry in 2008, lost everything that we owned in that process, had no money in the bank, had no resources to draw from. Everything we owned was in storage, and our friends were even buying our groceries. So not only were they housing us, they were feeding us. There was even a point in time where my pajamas wore out. I didn't even have the money to replace my pajamas. Another friend bought my pajamas for me. How humbling is that? But the reality is, I did not allow those circumstances to stop me from moving forward. I set my plan of action, and I stuck to it every day, and I still stick to it. So, we fast forward here 4 years. We now live in a home of our own. We've been able to replace vehicles. We've seen things turn around in our life. But that doesn't mean that we're to where we want to be. And so, we still encounter challenges sometimes. And so I'm going to give you one that we encountered last night. Here in the next 2 months, we have a conference in Denver, Colorado for business. We have another conference for ministry in Denver, Colorado. We have 2 high school reunions, and I may have a conference at the end of the month in Houston, Texas. Now, every single one of those things takes money. And Carol, of course, just came into the business with me full time, so we no longer have her income, and we weren't quite to the point of having her income totally replaced. So we're at a place where, we're not going to be homeless again, but there certainly was not the cash to do everything. And we came into a circumstance last night where our business conference in Denver, tickets went on sale for an additional Monday training and a mixer on Saturday night. Now, those things are some of the most valuable things that I do when I go to conferences. Our conference in Chicago, that Monday training was probably the best part of the weekend. Those mixers are where, relationships get started. My partnership with my business partner all came out of a live event. So I know the value of those things. They have propelled my business forward. But the thing was, the tickets are limited. We needed about $400 to do that. But with everything else we had, that $400 just wasn't readily available today. So we spent the night, we prayed about it, and we said, what do we have that we can utilize to make this possible? And we got to thinking about, we're going to switch houses with my mother here in the next month. She's going to downsize and get onto one floor, and we're going to move into the home that I grew up in. That's a multi-level house. And so we realized that one of the things we want to do is get rid of furniture. We're going to have more than what we need. And so we made a decision to sell a couch, to sell all of our coffee tables, end tables, my big man recliner that I bought after a tornado destroyed our home in 2001. and several other just household things. Now, the reality is those are going to be a bit of a sacrifice for the next few weeks. We're not going to have a couch. I sold our dining room table several weeks ago at a garage sale to help pay for some friends of mine who had to leave the country, to give them money to work with. So I don't mind making sacrifices. I'm going to tell you another story. Last year, I had a conference in Atlanta, Georgia. We had just moved. We had just replaced an engine in the van, and I needed the money to go, and I didn't have it on hand. So what did I do? Same thing. Began to ponder what can I get rid of here that will meet this need. And I decided that I had some silver coins, some graded silver coins. Had a stack of them sitting on my desk. I turned around, sold those, paid for my airline ticket and my hotel room. So here's what I'm getting at. Sometimes the reason you're not getting to where you want to is you're just not willing to make the sacrifices. You're not willing to give up a little bit of comfort for the moment to achieve bigger things. You just think you can't live without your television. It's funny, when I asked the question today, one of the first responses was from my friend Michael Cole, and he said the television. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't watch television at all, other than maybe a weekly movie with my kids, and even that's maybe every other week. I don't watch sports on television anymore. I don't watch the news. The only way I even know anything's going on is my Facebook wall blows up. What do I do at that time? I read. I am constantly reading. I was at my daughter's swim meet last night, and when she wasn't in the pool, I had my nose buried in my Kindle. Always reprogramming the way I think. But you know what? It's a sacrifice. It's not the normal way I operated. Those years we were homeless, building the business, I even gave up fishing, okay? I just had to stay the course and be focused. So what I want to tell you is if you're out here saying, well, I can't do that because I can't afford it, the reality is, deep within you, if you will put your mind to it, if you will think, if you will ask people for ideas, you will come up with at least 10 different ways you can afford it. Everything that I have said I cannot afford, I've been able to do some way, somehow. God has always provided me a solution to that problem, sometimes of my own doing, sometimes in conjunction with somebody else, but He has always provided everything I need. I have to be willing to act upon it. There's the account in Scripture, and I've really been dwelling on this the last few days. Jesus is teaching a crowd of over 5,000 people, and the disciples are like, send them away, they're hungry, let them go find something to eat, and Jesus says, you feed them. And you can just imagine the disciples going, with what? In fact, the Bible records, they say, it would take 6 months worth of wages to feed these people, and they would just get a little bit. But ultimately, they come to Jesus with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And it's not near enough, but in the hands of Jesus, it becomes more than enough. Everyone is fed, and 12 basketfuls of leftovers are left. But the issue is, for the disciples, they had to take action. They had to do something, and sometimes that's what God is waiting for you to do. He's just waiting for you to do something, to just take that step of faith and say, this is all I have, God, but in your hands, it's more than enough. So I wanted to share our challenge with you today. We have been blessed. We have freedom unlike anything we've ever experienced with our business. We're not to where we want to be financially. We're letting you take the journey with us. We want to go so much higher. There's so much we want to do. Even this afternoon, a friend of mine who went to Africa with me in January is getting ready to go back to Africa for 11 months, and he needs people to financially support him. I made that commitment to him today. Those are the things that light me up. So I'm not where I want to be yet. I want to do a whole lot more of that. But it takes sometimes some sacrifice to do that. Sometimes you got to sell the recliner and the couch to make it happen. Sometimes you got to get rid of the gold and silver coins to make it happen. There came a point in our journey over the last 4 years, I even sold my diamond wedding ring to make sure the rent was paid at one point. Sometimes you just have to make sacrifices to stay the course. And I want to encourage you, don't be afraid to stretch yourself. It is worth it. And when you make those decisions, you are sending a message to the world that I am wholeheartedly committed to what I'm doing, and you will find there are people who will not just walk but run to come alongside of you, because they're looking for a leader who has that kind of passion and determination, somebody who they can believe in, somebody who believes so strongly in what they're doing. What I'd love for you to do is click the link below. I want to introduce you to the community of entrepreneurs that I work with, people who have made a lot of sacrifices along the way but are accomplishing great things in their journey. Talk to you soon.